I can't. Look. I can't wait. TNA is back. We getting ready for Hard to Kill. It's probably gonna be one of the best pay-per-views of the year, and not just because it's only January. I get it, but TNA is back. We're back. We're excited. It's about to be. I mean, it's about to be something, man. Justin, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling good because TNA is back, and I'm just feeling. I got my old TNA shirt going here. I'm just feeling good, Justin. I don't know how you feel. How you feeling about the return? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling hyped, man. TNA, TNA, TNA. I'm
All right, we back, man. TNA is back. Justin, you were saying something. Let's just rewind real quick. What was you saying? Because I know you was excited. I didn't mean to
I
cut
was
you
saying
off. You was excited.
TNA, TNA, TNA. I
It's
had to do
much
that
easier
chant.
than saying Impact Wrestling, like right? Like it's just so much easier.
It's
It's
so
so
much
much easier than
easier.
saying the latter. Just I mean, I'm excited. So we're gonna go ahead and preview TNA's Hard to Kill, and I'm excited. Welcome into the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, and I mean always, DJ, that's me. Justin means always an instant classic, and I mean, it's funny. I was going through the YouTube channel today. They was revealing new belts and stuff. I was feeling nostalgic. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. Some of the belts look pretty good. Some of the belts literally look like they just put the TNA logo on the other belt. But we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that. All right. So for me, I'm excited, man, because TNA is it's my thing, right? It's my thing. Don't nobody clip that. Don't nobody clip that. But TNA is just that's my company right there. I didn't been through a lot of love hate relationships with wrestling, but TNA just always brings you back. All right, it always brings you back. All right. So Justin, what you thinking? How you feeling about the return to TNA? Have they had a weekly show as TNA yet? I know they've rebranded pretty much everything.
No, they really haven't had a weekly show as TNA yet. I mean, it was after Bound for Glory where they said that it's going to be the return of TNA. So basically, ever since then, they did like their tapings through like basically the rest of the year, the rest of 2023, and they had some like in between stuff. Better than that, as of recent, they haven't had like a whole lot of build up to this show. But it seems like a super indie. Like some of these matches like shouldn't be happening at all. Like you go like, what? This is happening on TNA. Like you would think, oh yeah, you might see this like in New Japan or like AEW, but like seeing this on a TNA card is like unbelievable. Um, but let me ask you this question, DJ. What's some great moments that you had like with TNA over the years that you remember?
I mean, I think obviously the triple threat at Unbreakable. What was that? 2004.
I
If
believe
I'm
it's
not mistaken. Oh, it's
2005.
2005.
Yeah. Hmm.
That was one of them, the triple threat with Joe, AJ Styles, and Christopher Daniels. I mean, that's one of those that you'll never forget. For me, now, a lot of people don't like this moment, but the beginning of the Aces and Eights, that was a good moment for me. Like the turn of like everything about that story. Like I think they took it down, but I used to go like once a year. I would go back to the YouTube channel because they had a playlist of like the story of the Aces and Eights. And when you listen to the story of it, it makes it that much better. Like if you can find it, if I don't know if they got it pirated anywhere, we don't pirate around here, but I'm just saying, I don't know if they got it pirated anywhere. But if you can find it on YouTube by somebody, or TNA needs to unarchive it or something, like because the story of that is incredible. Of course, one of my biggest moments that I feel like I remember more than anything is Kurt Angle's debut in TNA and him staring down Joe, and Joe was undefeated at the time. And like, you got this beast in Kurt Angle, and you got this freaking just big behemoth in Samoa Joe. I'm sure there's more. What was it? Eel skipper teeter tottering the cage, not teeter tottering, balance beaming the 6 sides of steel. That's always been one. Even just I remember fondly like Lashley's title run. I think it was technically Impact Wrestling then, but or at least they were rebranding the main show to Impact Wrestling. He was the TNA World Champion back then. But him and Rude, that was a fun time I look back on. But I mean, for me, like I feel I've always said this about TNA. I've always felt like they've been pretty consistent, especially in the main event picture. The main event picture has always felt consistent to me, and I feel like the knockouts have felt pretty consistent for the most part. I think everything else sometimes teeter totters back and forth, and sometimes isn't always as consistent. But I will say for me, TNA has always been consistent to me, and those are some of the moments I look fondly of. I'm curious to hear what yours are because I don't know if you started watching TNA as early as I did, or if you started watching earlier. I can't remember.
Yeah, I started watching TNA like around when Kurt Angle came in. Like that's definitely one of mine. Like when he did his headbutt to Samoa Joe, and like the headbutt heard around the world. Like that's one of mine, most definitely. Another thing is like even like Hogan coming in, even though people don't like Hogan in TNA, but like that really changed the game and
The
stuff.
the moment of it, I think you got like, and I think sometimes that's the thing we forget about, right? Like sometimes the story isn't great, right? Sometimes the in between isn't great. Sometimes it doesn't even end well. But sometimes it's just a moment of seeing Hulk Hogan in TNA was cool, right? Seeing all these legends in TNA was cool. Because it was like you never thought that they would even step foot in any other company in WWE. So, yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, I agree with you.
I also, it's a funny moment like with Ric Flair and Jay Lethal with them doing the woo back and forth, like go running back and forth. I thought that was hilarious. That was a funny moment. Um, Aces and Eights, that's another good one. The triple threat match between Rhino, AJ Styles, and Daniels is a great match. There's just like so many great moments. Another one that comes to mind is Bully Ray putting Dixie Carter through a table in the Hammerstein Ballroom. That's one that really comes to mind. I always love watching that clip of Dixie Carter going through the table. Even the Dixie Carter era was very interesting, even though Dixie Carter gets a lot of hate and stuff. That's a definitely interesting era. Um, or even Sting, when he had his took off this mask and then he had his like all face painted up. That's another fun moment. But there's a lot of fun moments in TNA though, and I'm happy it's back.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm excited to jump into the show and see what this card is looking like. Honestly, I'm kind of blind looking at the card. I've been looking at it as we go along. It's funny because, and I think we say this every time we get on and we talk about TNA or Impact or whatever we want to call it at the time in this little limbo period. But I feel like we go back and forth. Like we don't necessarily watch every show all the time, but then you feel kind of hooked when you get back into it. I don't know what it is about TNA for me, but like I always feel hooked when I get back into it. So I'm interested to see what what kind of matches they're gonna have on this card because I haven't seen much of it, but I'm definitely excited to see what's on it. I know. So I see there's 3 pre-show matches. Are they having like a pre-show or are they having like
They're
what
having a
what is
count. They're having a
like
countdown to
like
Hard to
countdown
Kill.
show? Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a countdown show. So we could talk about the first thing here. So it says worlds will collide this Saturday. You won't believe who is showing up. So there's not going to be a match here, but it's going to be a potential debut for someone's going to be debuting, and maybe it's a big free agent. I don't know if like they're. I don't know. Sometimes when they say, "Oh, it's a big person that's coming," and like we all get disappointed. Say it's like, I don't know, like say it's like Top Dollar, we all get disappointed from that. I know that Top Dollar is gonna be like doing performing some music and stuff. Hard to Kill. Um, But I don't know, like who do you think is going to be showing up like with like some free agents, maybe from like former WWE wrestlers or maybe some people from New Japan or whatever. Who do you think's going to be showing up?
Well, because what was it at Wrestle Kingdom? Nick Nemeth slash
Dolph
Dolph
Ziggler.
Ziggler, he showed up. So that I feel like that could be one. He could show up and it would be a surprise. It would be welcome. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in TNA because it seems like that would be a place where he would go, especially in years past, especially before AEW. I think that would be good for him. I wouldn't be surprised to see it. I'm trying to think of some of the other some of those other free agents that are out there that might be good. I mean, I haven't heard from Enzo in a while. We haven't heard from Enzo in a while, but to say worlds collide, it makes me think could be like an Okada maybe. Maybe they grab Okada for a one night only type situation. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Okada shows up at the Rumble either. But I think honestly, I think WWE and TNA could be in kind of cahoots a little bit at this point with some of the things that they've been doing to the point where not necessarily WWE is going to buy them, but more so just like, hey, you can have this person. I mean, shoot, Mickey James literally wore the Knockouts title out to the Royal Rumble, 2 years ago or so. So like,
Yeah, wasn't it last year or maybe it was the year before?
wasn't
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it was last year. I think it was the year before. Yeah, which I think
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I think that honestly I think it might be Ziggler if I had um Ziggler or Okada. I think that those will be the ones because those are the only ones that I don't really remember seeing in TNA before.
Mm. Yeah.
And
Which
Ziggler has
Okada, speaking of Okada, he's
uh,
actually going to be wrestling on the next night on like at Snake Eyes. Like he's going to be wrestling some TV tapings.
oh
And
okay.
also, who else is going to be there? Will Ospreay is going to be there before he, ends up going to AEW later on here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, that'd be interesting if they, sign Okada because, they do TNA does have like a working relationship with New Japan, so that's not
Mhm.
out of the realm of possibility there, for him to be signed, which I would like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a pretty good choice. I think number one on there is like Nick Nemeth for me, or Dolph Ziggler. Another one that came to mind is Mustafa Ali. He's in there one that really came to mind. And this one's kind of a shot in the dark here, but I'm gonna say Mercedes Monet, aka Sasha Banks. Dude, if they get Sasha Banks, that will be worlds colliding. That
Oh
will
yeah.
be that will be a huge signing if they end up getting Sasha Banks because she's speculated that she's going to be going like to AEW or people say that she's going to be returning at the Rumble, but
Mhm.
she throws everybody a curveball and she goes to TNA, which TNA they have a really good knockouts division. Like it's very strong.
Yeah.
Like they always had a great knockouts division. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mercedes ends up signing with TNA. Yeah, so those are my three choices who I think could show up. But yeah, we will move on to the countdown to Hard to Kill here. So the first match that we're going to be talking about is a tag team match. We got Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, which are they kind of like this like back in 2023, the end of 2023, they just like made a tag team. Um and then we got the TNA originals of Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian.
Isn't it crazy to see these four guys on the pre-show? Like,
This is crazy. Like you would think this should be on the main card because there's one match that really shouldn't be on the main card, but it is what it is. Really, there isn't really a whole lot of build to this match. This match is kind of here. I mean, yeah, I don't really know. Who do you think's gonna win this match?
I feel like though for me, I'm gonna go with the originals. Of course, it's the return of TNA, so it would make the most sense if the originals won this match. Just because I mean I know it's on the pre-show and everything like that, and it seems like they're trying to put their best foot forward on the pre-show, so maybe more people will buy the pay-per-view. But I feel like the originals kind of have to win here, right? Like, it's interesting because Eddie Edwards has been in TNA for a long time. You know, he's not an original, but it feels like he's been there forever. So it's interesting that dynamic with him too. But I think Eric Young and Frank Kazarian to win the match. What do you think?
Yeah, this match is interesting here. Like, Eddie Edwards and Frankie Kazarian, they kind of had a feud stemming off from last year, so kind of, there is a little backstory to this, with them, with them training at the same with like Killer Kowalski and stuff, so they do have a little background here. Also, Brian Myers, he also has been tagging up with Moose, no, he's not the most professional, but he's a wrestling god. But Brian Myers is the most professional wrestler. Um, yeah, I just think that the TNA originals are gonna win here. Like you said, they're trying to get off onto a good first start here. Um, with the TNA originals, and being in the TNA again, you have to go with them here. Like being a pre-show match, let the faces win. So yeah, I'm going with the TNA originals. All right, and then the next match we have here is Rich Swann going up against Steve Macklin, and I gotta say this: why is this match on the kickoff? Like, why?
Yeah, like it's weird because I wouldn't expect this match to be on the kickoff. I would expect them to have like maybe 2 matches on the kickoff and just extend the show. Like why? Why? I really don't get it. Like why is this match on the kickoff show? Because uh, I mean, of course, Rich Swann. I mean, both. Interestingly enough, both of these guys former TNA or former Impact World Champions. So I I don't get it. I like why don't you just extend the show? Like I don't know if they just don't have the streaming time or something, but why wouldn't you just extend the show for this match? I don't get it. Like now the digital media championship match, now they can keep that on pre-show because I don't even know what that is. But other than that, I think they could do something with this. But
Who you got winning there?
for me, I'm gonna go with Rich Swann because he's just returning. If I'm not mistaken, not long ago at least. I mean, I know he returned at the last pay per view they had. I think, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken.
Yeah, Final Resolution. Yeah.
Yeah. So with him just returning, I think he's due for a win. So I think he'll win this match.
There we go. I'm gonna be opposite here. I'm gonna say Steve Macklin wins, and like I feel like in 2024, I think Steve Macklin could be a good world TNA world champion. I remember Rich Swann. He's done a lot. Like he's kind of set here in um Impact. I'm not sure how much time Rich Swann has left on his contract. Um, but it would be interesting to see Rich Swann maybe go like other places. Maybe try stuff in New Japan. Maybe like join the junior heavyweight division. Um, I don't know. Maybe go to like AEW. I don't know, but AEW is like just so packed right now. I feel like let's get thrown in like to Ring of Honor or something like that, or be on Rampage. um, but yeah, Steve Macklin. I feel like he needs to get the win here. Like, and he had a pretty decent 2023. So I think start him off on the right foot by giving him a win here on the countdown. Which these guys should be on the actual card. Like it's crazy to see that these guys are on the kickoff. But we got one more match on the kickoff, which is the Digital Media Championship match. So it's basically a TV championship. So we got.
I get it. Like I
Mhm.
do, but I just don't think they've done this title any favors. Like at least before, right? Because I mean, this title has been through the ringer. You had the TV title. I know you had was it it's like the Grand Slam or
The
something.
Grand Slam Championship,
Something
yeah.
like that with the MMA rules. You had the King of the Mountain title for I think one night. And it was one more. It was one more iteration of this title, and it's just been through it. And like the Digital Media Championship, like I get it because they probably don't have a sponsor, so it can't be like the Fight TV title. Like it can't be their version of the TBS title or the TNT title or anything like that. And I see TNA moving in a forward direction, going with the digital media championship. I get it, but I don't know. I don't understand the concept of it to a certain degree either. I think Dreamer will retain. I just don't see Crazy Steve winning this title. I don't know what it is, but I just don't. Crazy Steve seems like a guy who I feel like goes in and out of TNA for some reason. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's false, but it seems like he goes in and out. So I mean, for me, I think Dreamer retains. And can you really have
Yeah.
a title change on the pre-show?
I mean, you could. I mean, it could get more people to to buy the show at the last minute. Like, oh, there was a title change. Well, let's see what else is in store. And also, this is a no disqualification match, by the way, which is gonna be very interesting. Um, and also some of the backstory behind this match. So Crazy Steve, he won the Feaster Fired back at like the around the 1000 episode of TNA or Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call it. So he won the Feast or Fired, and the case that he got was the Digital Media Championship. So he decided that he's going to be using it here, and he's been attacking Tommy Dreamer. Been blindsiding him. There was one point where he attacked him with beat him down with a fork. Gotta love them foreign objects. With spoons and forks and all that, knives. I mean, whatever you got. Even the pizza cutters. Gotta love them old pizza cutters. But yeah, he attacked him with a fork. So this whole new character that Crazy Steve has been doing, being like more crazier, more darker. I've been enjoying it, and also Tommy Dreamer. I feel like it was cool when he won the title because he was saying that he was going to be retiring if he wanted to won this title.
Yeah.
So I feel like it'd be a good way, like to have a title change here.
Mm-hmm.
Do something good for this title. So yeah, give me Crazy Steve to win here. I think he'll be an interesting digital media champion. Yeah, I'm gonna go Crazy Steve.
Okay.
All right, and then now we move to the actual card. So this is gonna be interesting
Is
here. So we got
is this the match that you felt like should have been on the pre-show and wasn't?
yes, this is the match I feel like that should have been on the pre-show. So we got PCO. No, and no disrespect to these guys, but we got PCO. Which guy he shouldn't even be wrestling anymore. We got PCO going up against Dirty Dango with uh I know that's Bravo. But
Yeah,
I
Alpha
don't know
Bravo, and
I
I don't
can't
know what the
even
heck's the name is.
I don't know the other
It's
guy's name. It's all
Kozlov though, right?
yeah, that's Kozlov. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Kozlov right there, which is interesting. I don't even know what you call this faction that's going on here. Um, now I'm going to say this. PCO, like they were first to announce, he was going to be resigning with TNA. So I feel like they're going to give him the win here. Like, there's really not a whole lot of story to this. Dirty Dango, he's just been, doing this like heel gimmick and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny with this whole faction, like these, they did terrible gimmicks in WWE, like that were like really wonky and goofy. He did
Mm-hmm.
that. Dirty Dango did that, or Fandango did that whole dancing gimmick.
But he
And
did
then
beat Chris Jericho on his debut WrestleMania match,
he
so
he
he got
he
that.
did beat Jericho. You're not wrong about that. And Kozlov, they made him serious at the beginning, and then he did his whole thing with Santino and stuff. They made him like a comedy gimmick. So yeah, that was kind of terrible. I don't know. Let's call this faction the comedy of the WWE. I don't even know. Yeah, I'm gonna go PCO to win here. I think he's like gonna do a big eye spot. He's gonna dive onto like all three of the guys. He's gonna do something crazy in
Probably.
this match.
Yeah, the we should call it the comedy of WWE. Yeah, I think the heels get this one over on PCO. I know PCO is just coming back too, but I think Dirty Dango and his crew, I think they get the win. I'm going with it.
There you go. That's gonna be interesting there. So next match we have is the Knockouts Ultimate X match. So we got Tasha Steeles, we got Alicia Edwards, Giselle Shaw, Jody Threat, Zaya Brookside from NXT UK, and Danny Luna from the what's the faction called? Uh, oh man, the faction slipping my name. It's like Mark Andrews in it. Um,
Mm.
uh,
I know what
yeah,
you're saying. I know what you're
yeah,
saying, but I
you know the
can't
faction
remember
I'm
either.
talking about. I just can't remember the faction off the top of my head. If anybody is down in the chat, let us know what the faction's called. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna say okay. So we got Tasha Steelz, Alicia Edwards, Giselle Shaw. Those girls. They've been doing a lot of good things. In this, I wouldn't necessarily call them TNA originals or like Impact originals, but they've been you know kind of a cornerstone of this past run of Impact Wrestling. And like Jody Threat, she's had a pretty good little run here this past year. And Zaya Brooks, she's never been here in TNA before. And Danny Luna, she's recently new. She debuted at Slammiversary. So it feels like good like old versus like new here for TNA here right now. I think that Giselle Shaw should win this match here. Kind of seeing her like upbringing from the UK independent scene, seeing all the hardship that she's had to go through.
And I mean, considering she's dating Scott Demore, hey, she know the right people.
And she's not too bad in the ring. I feel like she deserves a big moment, to go after the Knockouts Championship and eventually win the title. So I'm gonna say Giselle Shaw ends up winning here. What about you, DJ?
I think for me, I'm going with my girl Tasha Steelz. Okay, it's funny because I don't think she got nothing to prove in this match, but I will say I think it would be interesting to see somebody who hasn't done too much in TNA do something like a Giselle Shaw or a Jody Threat, or Danny Luna or Zaya Brookside. But I'm going with my girl Tasha Steelz.
There you go. Watch us be wrong and they give it to Alicia Edwards. Oh my God,
Mm,
no,
don't do
no,
that.
no, no. That would be terrible.
Don't
Like
do that.
I don't mind any other girl winning this match. Yeah, but not Alicia Edwards. And if my buddy, kicking it with Leo's watching, he thinks there's going to be a possible debut in this match, of Dana Brooke, or
Oh wow. Okay.
which I don't know. I don't know if I see that here because I feel like the knockouts division, is pretty strong right now. I don't feel like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they do have her show up, maybe it'll be on like some tapings, but I don't really seeing her added into this match. But it would be interesting to see though. But this little thing I want to throw out there. All right, and the next match we're gonna be talking about is the TNA World Tag Team titles on the line. We got ABC, Chris Bay, and Ace Austin defending titles against the Rascals, and the debuting grizzled young veterans of James Drake and oh god, what's his name? James Drake and his name is slipping my mind. Zachary Gibson, Zach Gibson.
You getting old. You can't remember nothing.
Yeah, I can't remember nothing. I'm becoming like Casey or Chase. I'm becoming like Chase. And then also we got Mike Bailey and Trent Seven in this match. Boy, oh boy,
Mm-hmm.
this match is going to be
It's a scuffed
crazy.
match right here. You
This is
know, this is the difference. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the difference between TNA and AEW. Because if AEW put this match in front of my face, I would not watch it. But TNA has booked this in a way where I want to watch it because I care about every team that's in this match, and I feel like every team in this match could win this match.
yeah. Like
I mean,
look at these teams here. Look at this.
you got the grizzled young veterans. So, well, I mean, grizzled young veterans still don't make no sense. But you got the grizzled young veterans, right? Like you got that kind of smash mouth team. You got kind of a little bit of a high flying team with Mike Bailey and Trent Seven, kind of a yin yang type team, really. We know what the Rascals can do, and we know what ABC can do, and ABC is going to retain. So it's just how it's going to be. It's going to be a good match. Everybody's going to get their stuff in. Everybody's going to try real hard, but ABC will retain. I don't feel.
Not bad, not bad. Yeah, this match is hard for me because I feel like any team could win this match here. Um, I don't know. I just have a feeling in my gut that they're going to give it to the Grizzly Young Vets, even though they're not signed with TNA. As far as I know, they're not. They're not signed with TNA right now. But what if they have them win and they're like, oh, maybe this is so bad here in TNA. Maybe we should sign. Because there's sometimes where they just throw a title on somebody who wasn't signed with the company, and then they end up staying for a little bit. Like we've seen that with who did we see that with? We saw that with the Bullet Club, or Carl Anderson and
I mean,
Luke Gallows.
even thinking about Kenny Omega, right? He wasn't technically signed to
Yeah,
TNA, but or Impact at the time, but it kind of had that little crossover. Once again, I feel like it didn't help TNA as much as it helped AEW, but still, it was cool. It was one of those chances that they decided to take to try to get more eyes on the product. So
true. Also ABC, they just recently won the titles at I believe it was Bound for Glory. So they haven't had the titles that long. Yeah, so yeah, they used to recently won titles at Bound for Glory. So I feel like maybe if they want to get these titles they're like onto a good track, maybe have the current champions retain here and really build these titles up. So I could definitely see that. I'm gonna be different here. I'm gonna say the Grizzly Young Vets win. Yeah,
okay, the
the Grizzly
newcomers,
Young.
huh?
I'm gonna say the newcomers win here. I don't know. This guy feeling that they're gonna win because like they announced them a while back saying that they were gonna be coming to TNA, and I said, oh, okay then. I'm all here for it. I'm here for it. But yeah, move on to the next match, which we have is a triple threat match for the X Division Championship. So we got Chris Sabin defending the title against Kushida and El Hijo del Vikingo. Oh my god, this match is gonna be insane. Like these three guys here. Oh, I don't even know. Like there's gonna be so much spots in this match. Vikingo's gonna be doing like so many 630s, 450s. He's just gonna be flying all over the ring. And Kushida, he's great in the ring as well. He does some amazing stuff. He even had that great match with Steve Macklin last year. Was it at Rebellion, I believe? Yeah. Well, that was like for the vacant world championship. Chris Sabin, he's a veteran in the X Division. I think he's a 10-time X Division champion, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he
Yeah,
won his
yeah,
10th.
that last victory he had against Leo Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, made him a 10-time X Division champion, which I think is the record. If I'm not
Yeah. I
mistaken.
think that I believe that. Yeah, you're right. That is a record. But DJ, who do you think's gonna win this match?
This one's tough because I think this is the perfect time to pull the trigger on Kushida. I'm trying to remember when Impact 1000 was, like how long ago it was, so I know how long the reign was. But I
I believe
can't.
it was back in
September.
September. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's had the title long enough for Kushida to take it from him, but
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where they can continue to build this up, and I would not be surprised if Sabin won. So you know what, I'm gonna stick with Sabin. I'm gonna go Chris Sabin. I think Chris Sabin retains, but if Kushida does win, I wouldn't be surprised. Vikingo, he gonna flip around and stuff, but he ain't winning this match.
And he's also not signed with TNA, so yeah, he ain't gonna win this match here though.
So,
I'm gonna say Kushida wins. Why not? I think this is a great time to put the title on him, and maybe they can have a feud between Kushida and Chris Sabin. Like I'm all here for that feud. But then again, Kushida has been saying that he kind of wants to go back up into the world title scene and
okay.
try to test his limits there.
Yeah.
Um. So, but I'm gonna say Kushida wins. Because he's good in the ring, and I like what he does. So yeah, give me Kushida.
But I feel like some of these titles have to change, right?
Yeah, some of these titles have to change. Yeah.
And it might be the feast or fired, call your shot people would be the ones you would think that it would change. But
Mm-hmm.
everybody's playing it fair though. Everybody's announcing the fact that they're doing it. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, and then the next match we have here is Josh Alexander going up against Alex Hammerstone, which I never really seen much of Alex Hammerstone. He's like a former MLW World Champion. I think he held the title like for a couple years. So, he's pretty known on the independents. Like I said, I never really seen much of his work. Josh Alexander, the longest reigning Impact World Champion to date. This is gonna be an interesting match. There's really, like I said, there's really no story behind it. I think it's gonna be a hard hitting match. Now, if Alex Hammerstone is signed to TNA, if he does end up signing with them, I don't know if he is right now, but if he is, then I'm gonna say Alex Hammerstone. But if he isn't, I'm gonna say that Josh Alexander wins here. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna think of my head here. I'm gonna say that Josh Alexander wins because I don't feel like Alex Hammerstone is signed. I don't know. It's kind of like it's kind of like in football. Like, okay, if this team loses, then I'm going with the other team, and like
Yep.
going back and forth.
Going with the
That's how it
refs.
is.
Yeah.
Going with the refs.
Yeah.
uh,
For me, I think Alex Hammerstone is signed. I think they just haven't done a big reveal for it, and I
uh,
think Josh Alexander is the perfect person for him to get. I mean, he looks like $1,000,000. Like he looked good. So I think for him to like show his prowess and show what he can do, I feel like Alexander is the perfect guy for Hammerstone to beat. Former world champion, multiple time world champion. So with that being said, I think with Hammerstone, I feel like to me, Hammerstone, this is the perfect opportunity for Hammerstone. His first TNA pay per view, I think he's gonna win this match. I do.
you know what, DJ, you swayed my pick here. I think I might have to go with him. I think I might have to go with him. Yeah. All right. And then the next match. Oh, what's up? He says just might have to start watching again. You might have to.
Absolutely, you got to. I mean, you missing out. I honestly think like I still feel like TNA is one of the best companies on the planet. Like especially now that Ring of Honor has fallen off and like
Mm-hmm.
is lacking a little bit. I think TNA shoots back up there, right? They may not have the money, they may not have the budget, but you know they do what they can with what they got.
But to be honest, I like when TNA or Impact. I like when they kind of run these small arenas because it's better to do a small arena and like have the whole venue sold out
Yeah,
rather than do like a big arena and like have the people like on the hard cam side,
yeah.
be not much people there.
Do you think like because I feel like wrestling is the hardest business to come back from, right? Like,
Hmm.
do you think that there would ever be a resurgence from a TNA or NW? I mean, we've seen it with NWA, even NWA. Like, is there? I mean, now I think for wrestling at least, money cures a lot of a lot of things. I feel like money cures a whole lot of mishaps and stuff like that. I feel like AEW gets off the ground because they had a whole lot of money, right? They had a whole lot of money, a whole lot of promotion to put in it. They had a whole lot of money to put billboards out. They had the right relationships to get with um, TNT and TBS and all of them, and Turner Networks and stuff like that. So it just makes me wonder, like, and sometimes it makes me wonder too, like, would it benefit TNA to try to get back, not necessarily gonna necessarily be Spike, but get back on a Spike type channel where it's like everywhere people can watch it, people can see it, or are they better suited for where they are now? What do you think?
I think TNA can get back up to that point, where they were at one point. Like maybe if they, add a little bit, more money into it. Um,
It's just for me, like wrestling is just an unforgiving business. It just is. Like if you fall off, good luck getting up. Like
yeah.
that's the thing. Like because I mean, look at like if you look at all the other companies that have ever existed, we're talking about bought out. We're talking about just can't find like even NWA. There's a lineage there. The name is there. The name value is there. Um, Billy Corgan has some sort of monetary value to him, right? Like he has money. He's a performing artist, but they still, for whatever reason, can't get up. Now, I'm not saying it's Tony Khan or Shad Khan money per se, but or Vince McMahon money or Endeavor money, but it just makes me wonder, like, what is keeping wrestling companies down? Is it the audiences? Uh, is it the
And
unforgiving nature of the
I also
audiences,
feel
or is it?
like wrestling is just so oversaturated. We got so many companies that it's kind of hard to keep up with everything. So
Mhm,
maybe that could be a thing. Like people go like, get like turned off by it. And
mhm.
also it might be because not a lot of people have access TV. Like maybe like you said, maybe getting like a people like go into a network that people have more.
That's true. I mean, but it's also interesting to me too because we talked about it before. Like the smaller, which I mean, I don't even. It's hard to even say NXT is a smaller budget show because it's not. It's probably smaller budget than Raw or SmackDown, but it's still
Pretty high budget.
pretty high budgeted. So like it's even hard to say because we saw NXT come out of nowhere and kind of do their thing. So I don't know. And
Mhm.
that's another one where you're like, can NXT pick itself back up either, right? Like, just
There's nothing that's going to be compared to NXT Black and Gold. With all the takeovers that they had, nothing compares to that. Like anything that's going on in current NXT right now, yeah, that doesn't touch
but
what
why
Black
though?
and
That's
Gold
my
did.
question. My question is why? Like, why is it that nothing will ever be able to get to
I know,
that standard? If that's the standard of what literally we've been looking for in wrestling for 15, 20 years, why is it that we can't get back to that standard? I don't get it.
yeah, I don't get it either. It's kind of mind boggling to think about. Maybe it could be the booking. It could be some of the writing, or people just get burned out of it. I don't know. I really can't figure it out.
It's interesting. But
Um, I don't know, but yeah, we'll move on to the next match here,
is the main
which
event or no? Not
this
quite.
is not the main event. Well, I don't think this is going to be end up being the main event here. So we got the TNA World Title on the line. We got Alex Shelley defending the title against the wrestling god Moose. Which Moose he ended up winning the Feast or Fired briefcase. Basically accidentally, like when I believe someone got speared and then like he ended up I think Rhino ended up spearing someone and then he ended up catching the briefcase. So
Yeah,
he
I
ended up
remember.
winning the Feast of Fire briefcase and it was for the world title here. So my question to you is does Moose end up winning the world championship?
I think so. I think Moose returns to world championship status, wrestling god status. I just think he does. Um, like I've always liked Moose. I've liked Moose as world champion. I think Moose has put in some of the best work of his career in TNA. Of course, he got his start in Ring of Honor and he got real popular in Ring of Honor. Then he went to TNA and he started to feel like get even better, right? It felt like he got even better. He got even more to his character. He started to talk more. He started to be a guy. He got better with his promos. Like everything that every notch you could knock against him, he kind of just knocked it off the list. And I think he's proven himself time and time again that he's worthy of a world championship. And for him to beat Alex Shelley, it just continues to build to his resume of what he's done in Impact. So I think Moose is going to win this match.
Interesting. I like the stuff that Alex Shelley has been doing, with the world title, like people thinking that, oh, he can't win the big one and stuff. Um, but also the reason why I don't think this is gonna be the main event because I don't think with the signing is gonna be, as big as we think it is. But if it is a big, the big signing, I think he'll be somewhere involved in this match maybe here. And then maybe we could see, like, say if it's like Nick Nemeth, maybe he gets involved with this, and maybe Alex Shelley ends up retaining here. I don't know. I feel like Alex Shelley is going to retain some way by, um, what would they say, by hook or by crook? I think maybe
Yeah.
Alex Shelley might end up winning here.
Okay.
I just don't think Moose needs a title right now. Like he had a pretty decent run with it, a few years ago, but I just don't think he needs a title right now. Um, So yeah, give me Alex Shelley to retain.
Okay, so this is the main event. It's coming.
Yeah, this is the main
This
event
one.
coming up
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You think this is really going to be the main event, though?
I think this is really going to main event the show. This is
Okay.
like
Is
this
that
is one.
because there's going to be a Mercedes Monet sighting at the end of the show or something? Is that what you're saying?
I mean,
Or what?
I'm
What else that's
hoping
gonna
I'm hoping for here. I'm hoping that we see something like that. But we got the Knockouts World Championship on the line. Trinity's defending the title against Jordan Grace, which she won the Call Your Shot Gauntlet back at Bound for Glory. I gotta say this, I don't know what it is about Jordan Grace. I'm not the biggest fan of her. I don't know what it's like because they call her the Juggernaut. I'm the Juggernaut over here. You gotta start paying me. Copyright over here, Jordan Grace. I was Juggernaut before you ever were. Maybe I have something against that. I mean, she's a good worker in the ring. Also, there's rumors about Trinity that she could be going back to WWE. That she could be possibly like in the Rumble.
And this match is going to determine that.
Yeah,
That's
this
the
match
funny
is
part
definitely.
about it. This match is going to determine that.
And here's the funny thing. So they're going to be having some TV tapings in Orlando, Florida. In Trinity, she's on the posters or she's being promoted to be at those shows. And this is also sometime mid January here, like before the Rumble. So she could still end up going to WWE. But to be honest, I think that Trinity is going to retain here some way. I feel like she's going to retain. And then maybe on maybe those TV tapings, maybe Giselle Shaw maybe ends up cashing in her Ultimate X and maybe takes the title off of Trinity, and then she can end up going to WWE. I don't know, but I feel like
Didn't Jordan Grace have a reign this year though? Well, not this year. Last year,
I believe she did.
I think she did too.
Yeah, because Mickey James, which we haven't heard her name in a while, Mickey James, she ended up, I believe, losing to Mickey James. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
at last year's Hard to Kill. Yeah, it was a year ago. I'm gonna say Trinity retains. Why not? By you, DJ.
I think if WWE has showed us anything over the past, let's just say 4 months, and you probably can say really like 3 months. I think they have shown us that this is the year slash a little bit of last year is the year of them swallowing their pride, bringing people back that said they were upset, weren't going to come back, were never coming back, and they need some surprises for the Rumble. Okay, they do, and they understand that as good as TNA is, right, they're not going to get the respect that they deserve, and not as many people are going to watch this show that are WWE fans, right? So Jordan Grace is going to win this match. She's going to cash in her feast of fire. She's going to be Big Mama
She's
Pump
gonna
or whatever
cash
she
or
calls
call
herself.
your shot. To call your shot. Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to call her shot, and
Yeah.
she's going to be the new TNA Knockouts champion. And Trinity will return at the Rumble along with Mercedes Monet. You heard it here first, my friend. You heard it here
Boldly.
first, my friends.
I think a lot of people are saying that and stuff. I just kind of want them to be different. I mean, let's have Trinity retain. Like, oh, maybe she is staying with TNA. Because I mean,
Oh, you know what? Justin. You are a smart man. You have Trinity retain, and then you still have her show up at the Rumble with the TNA title.
yeah, because people. Okay, so there was something funny. So it was last Thursday. They were doing this preview special, and they were going "Oh, what's Triple H's big announcement?" And it was just being that they were announcing was it Becky Lynch and Nakamura were going to be in the Rumble. They were saying, "Oh, there's just going to be this TNA, and WWE are working together." I don't feel like that's the case. I mean, that'd be cool if they're working together. Maybe they might have a little working relationship. Like you said, maybe some wrestlers, kind of, they go like, hey, you can have this wrestler a little bit, and then a wrestler comes over here, vice versa. But I just don't feel like there's a working relationship as far as of right now. Even though with all the rumors that are going around. But yeah, I would say have Trinity retain. And then, she's going to be in her hometown of Orlando, Florida. So maybe she takes it, maybe Giselle Shaw or Jordan Grace maybe takes the title off of her, during those tapings. And then maybe she has her swan song type of moment in Orlando. And then she shows up in the Rumble. Or better yet, maybe she comes into the Rumble as, Knockouts champion. That'd be pretty cool too. That wouldn't be bad. Because, like you said, they had Mickey James show up in the Rumble as Knockouts champion.
They did. And they announced it too. Or at least had it on the graphic.
They did.
I think it's worth it. Do it.
I think it is.
Do it, WWE. Do it. It's your time. It's your moment.
Yep. So that was all the matches for TNA Hard to Kill.
Should be a good show. I'm excited.
I'm excited for it.
I'm definitely excited. Well, should we get on out of here for the good people? We'll definitely be back. Not next week, a couple weeks. We're going to be back before a couple weeks from now, but hopefully. But we will be back a couple weeks from now to talk about to preview the Rumble and then hopefully review the Rumble. So that'd be fun. But should be a lot of fun. I'm excited. Should be a good. This should be a good start to the wrestling year. I know technically day one was the start of the wrestling year, but for TNA, this should be a good start to the wrestling year. So I'm excited.
Yeah, most definitely. And also, we'll go be reviewing this later on sometime. Sometime early next week. Indeed. Be like Monday or Tuesday, whatever. Maybe more like Tuesday. We probably might review this. And so some stuff I got coming up on my channel. I got some retro reviews to do. Getting back into doing those more. I want to be more consistent. Like I said, I want to do more weekly shows, like a weekly reviews show. I want to get more with that. Do some more TNA stuff because like this TNA stuff, I feel like not a lot of people talk about TNA, so just do more stuff with that. But yeah, most definitely.
All right. Well, as we sign off here, make sure you check out my man Justin over there at not the True JSB, Juggernaut097. True JSB is his Twitter X handle thing. But be sure to check him out over there. He's always over here at the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast as well. Follow us at ICW_podcast. We'll see you guys. Oh, yeah, we're also on all major podcasting platforms. So be sure to check us out over there as well. But we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, and I mean always, and Justin means always, and you, my dear friend, means always an instant classic. Until next time, my friends.